Welcome to the Gentleman's Gazette. Today's video is about black tie, more specifically black bow ties. I discuss the different kinds, the different weaves, the different shapes, and which one is right for you. First, let's start with the most popular of all black bow ties, the so-called satin bow tie. Satin is the most popular material for bow ties because it's most often used for the facing of the lapel, as you can see here. Traditionally, you would match the material of the bow tie with the lapel facings. Satin is particularly popular for evening wear because it has this really nice luster that lets it sparkle and shine, which is exactly what you want for an evening black tie outfit. Of course, just like with anything in life, there are different qualities. There is a warp satin, a weft satin, and you can weave satin out of silk, silk blends, or polyester. It goes without saying that the best satins are made of 100% silk and they're made in a warp weave. If you want to learn more about the different satin weaves, check out our guide. At Fort Belvedere, we only use 100% silk, and we use a really nice Italian silk. It's one of the most expensive in the world because it gets this beautiful luster, as you can see here. Most bow ties you will buy will have an adjuster. That's because it's a one-size-fits-it-all and it's easier for dealers to stock. However, that's not what looks best on you. Adjustable bow ties always have metal clasps, and if you wear a detachable collar like here, you can see that. Also, at the end of an evening, traditionally, men who know how to wear their bow tie untie it and let it dangle around their neck. Sometimes they also take it off, and then you can see if somebody has an adjustable bow tie or a bow tie that is fixed in length. Of course, the length of the bow tie has to be matched to your neck size, and at Fort Belvedere we carry all of our black bow ties in a fixed neck size so you look your best. Bow ties come in different shapes. Therefore, we have the black satin bow tie in a traditional butterfly shape, as you can see here. We have it with pointed ends for a more unusual look, and we have it in a smaller shape as a single end bow tie if you simply prefer a smaller bow tie or if you are a shorter guy. The first bow tie you should have is the butterfly bow tie because it's one of the most classic models and it flatters 98% of all men. Most bow ties come with two ends and you tie them and you see them and they're basically somewhat symmetrical. In the 1920s and 30s, particularly dapper men wanted to have a thinner layer of fabric and they came up with the idea of a single end bow tie. The idea is that you just have one layer of fabric, thus making it thinner and more elegant. You can see what it looks like here. Single end bow tie is particularly nice for detachable collars and just gives you a very different look from all the other men out there. Maybe if it's your first bow tie, get a traditional butterfly bow tie with two ends, but as your next black bow tie, just get something different and either a different fabric, a different size or shape, or go with a single end. You can find the classic butterfly shape here, the pointed ends here, and the single end bow ties here. The next fabric is a so-called Berethia fabric. Unlike satin, Berethia is a little more matte and it's very popular in England. So if you don't like shiny silks, Berethia is the way to go for you. Also, if your lapels is made of a material that is not very shiny, a Berethia is maybe preferable. The other very popular material for black bow ties is Phi, also known as grosgrain. Technically they're different weaves, but people use them interchangeably, and so do we. I'm wearing a Phi grosgrain bow tie. As you can see, it matches my lapels. Grosgrain is a type of poplin fabric and it has a ribbed structure, which is just very different than satin and much more rare. Therefore, if you want to be more extraordinary and want to mix up your black tie game, A grosgrain bow tie is a great investment. Not all grosgrains are alike, and so we have two kinds. We have a wide rib, as you can see here, and a slimmer rib, as you can see here. The wide rib is much more of a statement, and it's really good if you, for example, have a satin lapel and you want to mix it up and have a visibly different texture. The smaller grosgrain rib is finer and better suited if it matches your lapels. Another popular fabric is called moire. Moire has the effect of watered silk, but in fact it doesn't have anything to do with water. It's simply a grosgrain weave black fabric that is rolled with pressure in between two layers, which creates this marvelous watered silk effect. We offer this bow tie as a single end bow tie in our shop. Another option is a so-called Satin silk. Satin silk is also known as Dupioni silk or raw silk, and it is characteristic because of its knobs. Natural silk comes in filaments that are very thin and are of different thicknesses, and when they're put together and twisted, you get a more regular yarn. Now, Satin silk is made intentionally irregular, so you will see thicker knobs and thinner fabrics right next to each other, creating a more casual, relaxed texture that goes well with dinner jackets and anything that is not super formal. Black grenadine is very unusual for black bow ties, but it has a stronger texture, and it's also a more casual option and favored by younger people who want to make a strong fashion statement. Another very traditional shape for bow ties is the so-called bat swing bow tie, and it's characterized by its straight shape. The bat swing bow tie is very easy for manufacturers to produce because you can simply take a rectangular piece of fabric and make it into a bow tie. The ends are oftentimes slightly curved because they're pulled in, and it's just not a very sophisticated look in my opinion. For that reason, we do not offer this kind of bow tie shape, but it must be mentioned because it is a classic shape. To sum it up, when it's your first bow tie, chances are you want to have a satin silk bow tie. Go with a butterfly if you don't have anything else. However, once you're past that stage, you may want to mix up your black tie outfits, especially if you're on a cruise or if you go on a black tie event every month. It's really much easier and less expensive to exchange your bow ties than to exchange your tuxedo or your shirts or your studs or cufflinks. Of course, you can also mix it up with your pocket square or your boutonniere, but having a range of black bow ties is always very nice because people will always think you have a different outfit, especially if you switch between a diamond pointed tie and a regular tie, and all you've done is just a bow tie. Alright, now you can check out all of these bow ties in our store. I hope you have a better understanding of what goes well, and if you have any other questions, let us know. If you now wonder how to tie your bow tie, check out this video here. For an advanced tutorial on how to tie your bow tie, including single end bow ties, please check out this video. Do you enjoy this video? Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also to our email newsletter so they come right to your inbox. It's free, of course.